Every single morning, hundreds of millions of people around the world perform the exact same ritual. They brew a cup of coffee, they drink it, and they go about their day without ever realizing that they're holding one of the most powerful health delivery systems nature has ever created. Coffee isn't just a beverage, it's a vehicle. It's a carrier that can transport incredibly potent natural compounds directly into your bloodstream with remarkable efficiency. And what most people don't know is that by adding certain specific ingredients to your daily coffee, you can transform an ordinary morning habit into something that actively supports your circulation, your energy, your vitality, and your overall performance, even well into your 70s and beyond. This isn't wishful thinking. This is published, peer-reviewed science. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly which additions to your coffee have the strongest evidence behind them, how they work at the cellular level, and why the combination with coffee specifically makes them so much more effective than taking them on their own. I'm Dr. Sofia Carter, and if you're a man who wants to maintain your vitality as you age, or if you've already started noticing that things aren't quite working the way they used to, this video might be one of the most important ones you watch this year. So stay with me all the way through because I've saved something truly special for the end. Let's start with the foundation. Let's talk about coffee itself and why it's such an exceptional base for these additions. Coffee contains over 1,000 bioactive compounds, and among them are some genuinely remarkable molecules. The most well-known, of course, is caffeine. But caffeine does far more than just wake you up in the morning. Caffeine is a vasodilator at the peripheral level, meaning it helps open up the smaller blood vessels throughout your body, including those in the pelvic region. It achieves this by blocking adenosine receptors, which in turn triggers the release of other signaling molecules that promote blood vessel relaxation. This increased peripheral blood flow is one of the reasons you feel more alert and energized after coffee, but it also has significant implications for overall vascular health and vitality. Beyond caffeine, coffee is extraordinarily rich in chlorogenic acids, which are polyphenolic antioxidants that have been shown to improve endothelial function. Your endothelium is the thin lining inside every blood vessel in your body, and it's the tissue responsible for producing nitric oxide, the master molecule of blood flow. When your endothelium is healthy and functioning well, it produces abundant nitric oxide. Your blood vessels stay flexible and responsive, and blood flows freely to every organ and tissue. When endothelial function declines, which happens progressively with age, nitric oxide production drops, blood vessels become stiff, and circulation suffers throughout the entire body. The chlorogenic acids in coffee have been demonstrated in clinical studies to support endothelial health and promote nitric oxide availability. Coffee also contains trigonelline, a compound that has been studied for its neuroprotective and blood sugar regulating properties. It contains kawil and cafestol, which have anti-inflammatory effects, and it provides significant amounts of magnesium and potassium, two minerals essential for proper vascular function and muscle relaxation. All of these compounds create a biochemical environment in your body that is already primed for improved circulation and vitality. Now imagine amplifying these effects with targeted additions that work synergistically with what coffee already provides. That's exactly what we're about to do. The first addition I want to share with you, and this is the one I consider the most transformative, is raw cacao powder. Not cocoa powder, which has been heavily processed and stripped of many beneficial compounds, but raw, unprocessed cacao powder. There is a profound difference between the two, and understanding that difference matters enormously. Raw cacao is one of the most flavanol-rich foods on the planet. Flavanols are a subclass of plant polyphenols that have been studied extensively for their effects on cardiovascular function and blood flow. The specific flavanols in cacao, particularly epicatechin, have a direct and measurable effect on nitric oxide production. Epicatechin activates the enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which is the enzyme inside your blood vessel lining that actually manufactures nitric oxide. When this enzyme is activated, nitric oxide production increases, blood vessels relax and widen, and blood flow improves throughout your entire circulatory system. The research on cacao flavanols and blood flow is robust and consistent. Multiple randomized controlled trials have demonstrated that regular consumption of cacao flavanols produces significant improvements in flow-mediated dilation, which is the gold standard measurement of how well your blood vessels respond to increased blood flow demands. These improvements have been observed in both younger adults and in older adults over the age of 70, which is particularly relevant to our discussion today. But here's what makes adding cacao to coffee so brilliantly effective. The caffeine in coffee and the flavanols in cacao work through complementary but different pathways. Caffeine promotes blood flow by blocking adenosine and triggering vessel relaxation through neurochemical signaling. Cacao flavanols promote blood flow by directly stimulating nitric oxide production at the endothelial level. When you combine these two mechanisms in a single beverage, you get a synergistic circulatory boost that neither ingredient could achieve on its own. To use raw cacao in your coffee, simply stir 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw cacao powder into your brewed coffee. It blends easily and gives your coffee a rich, deep, slightly chocolatey flavor that most people find extremely enjoyable. If you find the taste slightly bitter, which raw cacao can be, you can add a small amount of natural sweetener. But I'd encourage you to try it without sweetener first, because combined with coffee's natural flavor profile, many people find the bitterness is actually pleasant and satisfying. The second addition that I strongly recommend is Ceylon cinnamon. And I want to be very specific about the type of cinnamon because this distinction is critically important. There are 2 common types of cinnamon available in most stores. Cassia cinnamon, which is the cheaper and more widely sold variety, and Ceylon cinnamon, which is sometimes called true cinnamon. For regular daily use in your coffee, Ceylon cinnamon is the one you want because it contains significantly lower levels of a compound called coumarin, which in large amounts can be problematic for the liver over time. Ceylon cinnamon gives you all the benefits with none of the concerns about long-term daily use. Cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde, which has been shown to improve blood flow through several mechanisms. Cinnamaldehyde promotes nitric oxide release, reduces platelet aggregation, which means it helps prevent blood from becoming overly thick and sluggish, and it has potent anti-inflammatory effects on blood vessel walls. When blood vessels are inflamed, their ability to dilate and respond to nitric oxide signals is compromised. By reducing this vascular inflammation, cinnamon helps restore normal blood vessel responsiveness. But perhaps the most important benefit of cinnamon for men's vitality, particularly as they age, is its remarkable effect on blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. Research has consistently shown that cinnamon compounds improve the way your cells respond to insulin, which helps maintain stable blood sugar levels after meals. Why does this matter for blood flow and vitality? Because chronically elevated blood sugar and insulin resistance are among the most destructive forces acting on your cardiovascular system. Excess blood sugar damages the endothelial lining of blood vessels, reduces nitric oxide production, promotes inflammation, and accelerates the stiffening of arterial walls. By improving blood sugar regulation, cinnamon protects your vascular system from one of its most common and insidious threats. Adding cinnamon to coffee is wonderfully simple. Half a teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon stirred into your morning coffee provides a therapeutic dose. It also adds a warm, slightly sweet flavor that complements coffee beautifully and may reduce your desire to add sugar, which is an added benefit in itself. The third addition is one that has been used in traditional medicine systems across Asia for thousands of years, and that's ginger. Fresh grated ginger or high-quality dried ginger powder can be a remarkable addition to your daily coffee, and the science supporting its cardiovascular benefits is extensive and compelling. Ginger contains bioactive compounds called gingerols and shogaols, and these compounds have powerful effects on circulation. Gingerols stimulate blood flow to peripheral tissues by promoting vasodilation, and by creating a thermogenic effect, meaning they slightly increase your body's internal heat production. This thermogenic response causes blood vessels to dilate as the body works to distribute heat, resulting in improved circulation to extremities and to the pelvic region. Ginger is also one of nature's most effective anti-inflammatory agents. Chronic inflammation in blood vessel walls is one of the primary reasons that circulation deteriorates with age. Inflammatory compounds damage the endothelium, reduce its ability to produce nitric oxide, and promote the buildup of arterial plaques that narrow blood vessels. The gingerols in ginger inhibit the production of inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes, helping to protect blood vessel walls from this ongoing inflammatory assault. There's also fascinating research on ginger's effects on testosterone metabolism. Some studies have shown that ginger compounds may support healthy testosterone levels by improving blood flow to reproductive tissues and by providing antioxidant protection to the cells involved in hormone production. While this research is still evolving, the preliminary findings are encouraging and consistent with ginger's long history of use as a male vitality tonic in traditional medicine systems. To add ginger to your coffee, you can either grate a small piece of fresh ginger root directly into your brewed coffee and let it steep for a few minutes before straining, or you can add a quarter to half a teaspoon of high-quality dried ginger powder directly to your cup. The flavor is warming and slightly spicy and creates a chai-like quality to your coffee that many people find invigorating and delightful. The fourth addition is something that may genuinely surprise you, and it's one of the most underappreciated superfoods available. I'm talking about maca root powder. Maca is a cruciferous root vegetable that grows exclusively in the high Andes Mountains of Peru, at altitudes above 13,000 feet. It has been cultivated and consumed by indigenous Peruvian populations for over 2,000 years. Traditionally prized for its ability to enhance energy, stamina, and vitality. Modern research has confirmed what these traditional populations observed. Multiple clinical trials have demonstrated that maca supplementation is associated with improvements in energy levels, physical endurance, and overall reported vitality. What makes maca particularly interesting for our discussion is the mechanism by which it appears to work. Unlike many other vitality-supporting compounds, maca does not directly alter hormone levels in a way that shows up on standard blood tests. Instead, it appears to work by modulating the hypothalamic-pituitary axis, which is the master control system that regulates hormonal balance throughout your entire body. By supporting optimal function of this control system, maca helps your body maintain its own natural hormonal equilibrium. Maca is also rich in unique compounds called macamides and machenes, which are fatty acid derivatives not found in any other known plant. These compounds have been studied for their effects on blood flow and have shown the ability to support nitric oxide production and improve endothelial function. Combined with the nitric oxide boosting effects of coffee's chlorogenic acids and cacao's flavonols, maca adds yet another complementary pathway for circulatory support. The flavor of maca powder is malty, slightly sweet, and earthy, and it pairs surprisingly well with coffee. 1 to 2 teaspoons of gelatinized maca powder stirred into your morning coffee integrates smoothly without significantly altering the taste. I recommend gelatinized maca specifically because the gelatinization process removes the raw starch, making it easier to digest and allowing the beneficial compounds to be absorbed more efficiently. The fifth addition is collagen peptides, and before you dismiss this as something only relevant for skincare, let me explain why collagen is profoundly relevant to blood flow and vascular health, especially for men over 50. Your blood vessels are not rigid pipes. They are dynamic, living structures composed largely of collagen and elastin. Collagen provides structural integrity, while elastin provides flexibility. As you age, both of these proteins naturally decline in quantity and quality. Your body produces less new collagen, and the existing collagen in your blood vessel walls becomes more cross-linked and rigid. This is one of the fundamental reasons that blood pressure tends to increase and circulation tends to decrease with age. Your blood vessels literally become stiffer and less capable of dilating in response to nitric oxide signals. Supplementing with hydrolyzed collagen peptides has been shown in research to support the body's production of new collagen in blood vessel walls. A particular type of collagen peptide, derived from marine or bovine sources and hydrolyzed into small, easily absorbed fragments, can provide the specific amino acids, particularly glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, that your body needs as building blocks for vascular collagen synthesis. Clinical studies on collagen peptide supplementation have demonstrated improvements in arterial stiffness measurements, reductions in blood pressure, and improvements in overall vascular compliance, which is a measure of how well your blood vessels expand and contract with each heartbeat. These vascular benefits appear to be particularly pronounced in older adults, precisely the population that experiences the most significant decline in vascular collagen. Collagen peptides dissolve completely in hot coffee and are essentially flavorless, making them one of the easiest additions to incorporate into your morning routine. 1 to 2 scoops, typically providing around 10 grams of collagen peptides, stirred into your coffee adds no discernible taste and dissolves within seconds. Now let me share the bonus addition that I promised you at the beginning, and this one is truly remarkable. It's ashwagandha root extract. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen, which means it helps your body adapt to and recover from various forms of stress. And stress, particularly chronic stress, is one of the most devastating forces acting on your circulatory system and your overall vitality. When you're chronically stressed, your body produces elevated levels of cortisol. Cortisol constricts blood vessels, increases blood pressure, promotes inflammation, interferes with nitric oxide production, and disrupts the hormonal balance that supports male vitality. Over time, chronic cortisol elevation essentially accelerates vascular aging and undermines virtually every aspect of circulatory health we've discussed today. Ashwagandha has been shown in multiple well-designed clinical trials to significantly reduce cortisol levels, improve stress resilience, and support healthy hormonal balance. The active compounds in ashwagandha, called withanolides, appear to modulate the hypothalamic-pituitary adrenal axis, which is the system responsible for the stress response. By helping this system function more efficiently, ashwagandha helps prevent the chronic cortisol elevation that damages blood vessels and depletes vitality. Several studies have also specifically examined the effects of ashwagandha on male vitality markers, and the results have been consistently impressive. Ashwagandha powder has an earthy, slightly bitter flavor that blends well into coffee, especially when combined with cacao and cinnamon, which help mask the taste. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of high-quality ashwagandha root extract powder is a good daily starting amount in your morning coffee. Now let me explain why combining all of these additions in coffee specifically is so much more powerful than taking them separately as individual supplements. Coffee provides the caffeine that blocks adenosine and promotes baseline vasodilation. It provides chlorogenic acids that support endothelial function, and the hot water used to brew coffee acts as a solvent that helps dissolve and activate many of the compounds in these additions. When you add cacao, you're layering on direct nitric oxide stimulation through epicatechin. When you add cinnamon, you're protecting your blood vessels from inflammatory and blood sugar-related damage. Ginger adds thermogenic vasodilation and further anti-inflammatory protection. Maca supports hormonal balance and adds another nitric oxide pathway. Collagen provides the structural building blocks your blood vessels need to remain flexible. And ashwagandha removes the cortisol-driven constriction that undermines everything else. Each addition works through a different mechanism, targeting a different aspect of circulatory health and vitality. Together, they create a comprehensive, multi-layered support system that addresses blood flow from virtually every relevant biological angle. And because you're consuming them all in a single daily ritual that you're already performing anyway, compliance is effortless. You don't have to remember to take 6 different supplements at different times of day. You just make your morning coffee the way you always do, add your chosen ingredients, and you're done. I do want to offer a practical suggestion for those who are new to this approach. You don't need to add everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 additions that appeal to you most, perhaps cacao and cinnamon, and become comfortable with those first. Over the following weeks, you can gradually introduce additional ingredients as you discover which combinations you enjoy most and which ones produce the most noticeable effects for you personally. Everyone's body responds slightly differently, and part of the process is finding the specific combination that works best for your unique physiology. Quality matters tremendously with each of these ingredients. Raw cacao should be organic and minimally processed. Cinnamon should specifically be Ceylon variety. Ginger should be fresh or recently dried from a reputable source. Maca should be gelatinized and sourced from Peru. Collagen peptides should be hydrolyzed and from a trusted manufacturer. And ashwagandha should be a standardized root extract verified with analyte content. Investing in quality ingredients ensures you're actually getting the therapeutic compounds you're paying for, rather than diluted or degraded versions that won't deliver meaningful results. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who deserves to feel their best at any age. Subscribe for more evidence-based health content. I'm Dr. Sofia Carter, and I'll see you in the next one.